thing I'm keeping an eye on are the children at these universities around the country crying for sanctuary campuses and continuing to throw their protests because their feelings are hurt over what happened. Probably one of the best articles I've read on that was an article called An Open Letter to All the Whiny Safe Space Liberals Crying All Over Our Racist and Sexist Country. It was written by Hannah Bleau, who's our guest right now. She writes for chicksontheright.com, a website I go to quite often these days. Hannah, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. So let me ask this first, because it's the first time you've been a guest on my show. Are you a millennial?
Yes, I am. I'm 23.
23 years old, and congratulations to your success at this point and being a contributor there on Chicks on the Right. So tell me your feelings and your experience when you have turned on MSNBC or CNN or Twitter or whatever, BuzzFeed, whatever millennials are using for news sources these days, and you're seeing this reaction across the country to the election of Donald Trump.
You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, we're at the point where people are saying, when Donald Trump first won, I thought, okay, cool, people are going to start talking about he won because Americans are feeling, they like his policies. They're feeling like, I'm sorry, 1 second.
No, that's okay.
No. Anyway, they started focusing on how everyone was sexist and how everyone was racist, and it couldn't possibly have to do anything to do with Hillary's corruption or, I mean, this election was a direct repudiation of Barack Obama's policies. Americans want border security. Americans want affordable health insurance. We want this immigration problem figured out. I mean, it's just wanting people to come into the country legally, it's not racist. Wanting to keep terrorists out, that's also not racist. Acknowledging that liberal policies are failing urban cities, that's not racist. But for some reason, patting those communities on the back and continuing to allow them to live in squalor because Democrats can't bear to part with their political power, that's fine in their book. So it's just, I just couldn't take anymore seeing my fellow millennials just all they can say is, oh, sexism, racism. They don't even look at the policies, and it's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah, I hope I can get people to go to this letter that you wrote, because I thought it was just so well put together from the standpoint that you quoted some of the social media that you were seeing from folks who were complaining after the election that, it's not our fault. We didn't underestimate Trump. We overestimated the sexist, racist, homophobic, incredibly ignorant American voters. And it's a complete denial of, as you just mentioned, of the reasons that Hillary Clinton lost this race.
Right.
And I don't know if I don't know how we get past this. So when you talk to your fellow millennials, I'm under the impression now, and tell me if I'm wrong, that there was some organic hurt out there after the election. I mean, I felt it when Barack Obama got elected twice. But now you almost get the impression that it's coordinated. I mean, 2 weeks out from the election, 2 weeks tomorrow, and we've still got people marching and holding signs and yelling in theaters, and it's like an adult temper tantrum. Where does it go from here? What are you concerned about? Do you have any concerns about this not being organic anymore?
I mean, I do. I think that a lot of it, I think George Soros is behind a lot of these protests. It's still, because it's not organic, I don't think that it's going to last. I think it's going to die out soon. I'm hoping it dies out soon. It's just these people protesting our racist and sexist country. I mean, these are the same people who are crying and needing safe zones and Play-Doh to cope with the election outcome. So I don't think it's going to last as long as MSM wants it to, but you never really know.
Tell me your path here, Hannah, if you don't mind me asking, because
Sure.
One of my complaints about and I've got a 21-year-old and I've got an 18-year-old at home. One of my complaints about the generation that I consider millennials, which obviously stretches into the 20s and early 30s, is that we've raised a generation of folks who aren't equipped emotionally to handle defeat, or to point the blame constantly at somebody else and not take any responsibility for it. And I direct that mostly when I see these stories about the Play-Doh and safe spaces on college campuses where people can go and feel safe when they talk about their emotions about this election. You know, I think back to your great-great-grandparents, my grandparents who fought in World War II, they didn't have safe spaces. They had to grow up at a much younger age. So how did you get to this point in your life being a good common sense conservative?
Well, my parents were always kind of political. They were always conservative, not very actively political, but they kind of went that way. But for me, I developed my own opinions really when I started community college. I was in dual enrollment in high school, and the professors, even in classes that weren't political, it'd be like Composition 1 or Composition 2,
right.
they would slip these little nuggets about, like, little jabs about the Second Amendment, like in Comp 1. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? And what they were saying just didn't sound right to me. And I would try to challenge them. I wasn't very good at it because I really didn't know. I just knew it didn't sound right. And that really just prompted me. I just started diving into books, and I wanted to be able to defend what I believed. And from there, it completely took off, and battling my professors became one of my favorite pastimes. And I decided I wanted to, and stupid me, I went to a liberal arts school, so only got worse from there.
There aren't many of those that aren't liberal arts schools anymore, it strikes me. My daughter just graduated from a Jesuit university, and yet had a history professor who, after one of the mass shootings, came out and announced that it was time to get rid of the Second Amendment. I mean, you could have knocked me off my feet with a feather. I can't believe some of the stuff that's going on in universities these days.
Oh yeah, I mean, right before I graduated, one of the last classes I had a professor actually ask me in front of the class why I was a racist, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" I mean, they just keep. That's why these kids believe these things. Professors just keep feeding it to them. They're not teaching them. They're not teaching them how to think. They're teaching them what to think, and they eat it up.
Yeah, it's reached a critical level, that's for sure. But let me, again, direct people back to this website, Chicks on the Right. Look for Hannah Bleau. She also goes by Red Dawn on this website. And the thing I loved about your article as much as anything was quoting Ronald Reagan near the end of it, a 1964 speech, in fact, from Ronald Reagan. I just loved that. And I appreciate your grasp of reality. Can I tell you that?
Thank you.
So hopefully people will go on there and check out your future writings and some of the articles you've written for Chicks on the Right. Hannah, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. You have a great day, and I tell you what, let me read her last line of this article to you, because this is classic. She said, Donald Trump is America's middle finger to the media, Hollywood elites, progressive ideologues, and everyone else in the world who hates our guts. I'm drinking the tears of our political enemies in a mug today and loving every minute of it. We defeated them. We have one more chance to prove our ideas work. We're right. We always have been. Does that not give you a little bit of hope for the future of America? I'm telling you, that young lady's got it going on. We need to encourage that across America. That's for sure.